Today we're going to talk about the 5 rules of wealth. If you want to grow wealthy, follow these simple steps. Rule number 1, pay yourself first. If you want to grow a multi-million-dollar retirement, pay yourself 10 to 20% of your take-home pay and get that in an account. Number 2 is compound your money and get your money in an account that is compounding no less than 7%. Number 3, protect your investments. Either allocate conservatively or get it into an account that won't lose money. Number 4, maximize safe leverage. What that means is get other people's money working for you. Number 5, sharpen your financial habits and increase your financial knowledge. You do this and you can grow wealthy. Remember, it's not what you make, it's what you do with what you make.
Less every single month. Number 2, get the STEP app. Y'all, it is amazing. You can start building your credit score even if you're under the age of 18. That's insane. Credit score is what's important for adult things like getting a mortgage, leasing a car, you need it. Number 3, piggy bank. Yes, the piggy bank. I don't know how or when, but I have $400 in here. The change adds up. Number 4, understand the huge difference between being wealthy and looking rich. And number 5, stop buying the $5 coffees. If you save $5 a day for 5 years, you will have over $9,000. That's a lot of money. Save your money.
Instead of going to college from years 18 to 22 and spending an average of $26,800 a year, you worked as a waiter earning an average salary of $26,800? What if during just these 4 years, instead of spending your extra time getting drunk and going out, you were cool with living cheaply and created a side hustle that could generate $1,500 a month in passive income to cover your living expenses? Something cheap like dropshipping or selling digital assets. What if during just these 4 years you invested your $25K salary into the S&P 500, which has netted a return of 7.9% for the last 20 years? What if after doing this you didn't invest anymore and just left that money in the S&P 500 until you were 55 and did whatever you wanted from years 22 to 55? You would retire a millionaire. That's what would happen.
3 tips of how we became...
That's legal, that feels illegal.
Basically, waited until my credit score was above, like I would say, in between the 630s and 680s area is the best way to get finance for a car. Ever want to go to the dealership and not have financing already in order? Don't ever. If you have a bank, apply with your bank. If you had a credit union, even better. Apply with a bank you know and apply for a car loan or a personal loan, depending on if the interest rate is lower or not. You ask them that you would like to be approved for financing for a vehicle, and when they approve you, they will send you a check. They ask you what kind of car you want, what kind of car you're buying, and then they give you an approved amount. You take that approved amount and you go to the dealership. That way you already know what you are approved for and how much.
Important money concepts they don't teach you in school, part 1. The 50-30-20 rule. This is a must-do budgeting method for when you start working. The rule is to divide your monthly income into 3 spending categories. 50% on your needs and essentials like rent, bills and food. 30% on your wants like clothes, entertainment and holidays. And put 20% into your savings. And make sure to put the savings somewhere where they'll compound over time.
Here is what your income has to look like to be able to afford a £200,000 property. So let's just assume you're putting down 10% as a deposit and the rest is coming from a mortgage. Now typically lenders are going to lend you 4.5. Any financial commitments or any of your income comes from commission, bonus or overtime, then the amount you've just worked out is going to be a little bit reduced. And this video here explains exactly why it would be reduced if you had those streams of income.
First, find a side hustle where you can make a consistent $150 per week.
Then open an online brokerage account and a Roth IRA at a company like Vanguard or Fidelity, not Robinhood. Then deposit every penny into your Roth IRA until you hit your annual limit, which is $6,000. It should take you 9 months. Then save the rest for taxes and expenses. That's about $1,800. If you buy an S&P 500 or total stock market index fund, you can expect about an 8% return. So in 35 years, you'll have over $1 million. And of that, you only contributed $210,000. So that's over $800,000 in growth for doing nothing.
Money moves I would make if I were 22 years old again and just starting out. Live with my parents as long as possible. I did this for 2 years and saved probably $20,000. Buy a 3 to 5 year old used car. Don't buy a new car, it's not worth it. The moment you drive it off that lot, you instantly lose like $8,000. Use the avalanche method to pay off student loan debt and not the snowball method. I would have saved so much money on interest and I would still have my federal student loans that might be getting forgiven. Make sure you follow for part 2.
3 things to do as soon as you turn 18. 1. If you're in the UK, open up a stocks and shares ISA and start investing. 2. Get a credit card and put a purchase on there that you can pay off in full every month, such as your phone bill. And 3. Start working on and investing.
Here are 3 life-changing tips that were shared to me from my mentor a long time ago that had helped me to become a multi-millionaire by age 29. Number 1, avoid replying when you're angry, or else you're going to regret your words later. Number 2, avoid making promises when you're happy. Why? Because you may commit to standards that you might not have the energy to uphold later. Number 3, avoid making decisions when you're sad. Why? Because you may underestimate your strength. Learn to master your emotions or else it will cost you a fortune.
What are some secrets you and the rich know that can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Wealthy people aren't worried about saving money. They're worried about building cash flow, baby. I'm not going to come after your math. That's not the point. Let's talk about Wealth Philosophy 101. Ready? To the big board we go. So these numbers are going to work no matter how much money you have. We're talking $100,000 or $100. So let's say that you've got $100,000 that you borrow from the bank at 4% interest. Over 30 years, borrowing $100,000 is going to cost you $324,000. But that's not the full story, is it? Let's say you take that same $100,000 and you earn 6% interest. $100,000 at 6% interest over 30 years is going to grow your money to $574,000. What are you saying? I'm saying that philosophy just made you a difference of $250,000 in cash. So if you're serious about building wealth, how am I making my kids multi-millionaires and saving myself $200 a month in the process? First, we need to understand that according to the USDA, it costs about $12,000 a year to raise a kid. I'm going to show you how to save $200 a month and make sure that you follow me so you know how to implement this. Let's say you have a full-time job that pays you $60,000 a year. In your business on the side, you can pay them up to $12,000 per year. That's a tax deduction to you and it's tax-free to your children. That lowers your taxable income. Your kids receive the money tax-free, you get to deduct that. That saves you $2,500 a year in tax savings. Because they're minors, you control the assets. So if you invest that $6,000 into a tax-free account, at 6% interest over 18 years, that money will turn into $196,000. Once they turn 18, you don't put any more money into that. Over the next 47 years, by the time they're age 65, they'll have $3 million saved up. While they're kids, that saves you at least $25,000 in taxes. And when they're adults, they get $3 million. How do you explain your kid works for your business? You've got to understand that the first Gerber baby was paid $25,000. But if the question's how do you do it, well, I log into my Freedom 5 Financial Ultimate Tax Savings course, and I scroll down to the document section, deducting community miles, buyer lease, the Augusta rule, expense tracking. Once I find the documenting hiring your child document, it shows me exactly what I need to do, like documenting a timesheet, documenting a pay scale, filing my W-4, my W-2, IRS Form 941 and 940. In addition to all of that, it's got the citation so you can send it to your CPA. They can fact check you and make sure that you're doing it the right way. It's legit. The tax code's good enough. You don't have to break the rules, just follow the law, and you will lower your taxes to the legal minimum, which means you keep more of what you earn.
The Tale of Naruto Uzumaki.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm 22 years old and I'm gonna start saving $333 a month. That's $4,000 a year towards my future, but I'm only going to save for 8 years until I'm 29 years old. Hey, I'm George. I'm 22 also, but I think I'm too young to start saving, so I'm just gonna wait until I'm 30. I'm gonna save that same amount, $4,000 a year, but I'm gonna do it all the way until I'm 65 years old in retirement. Now I'm 67. Remember, I saved $32,000 in my 20s for 8 years, and I didn't save again, but that's now grown to over $1.4 million for my future. Wait, what? I saved for 30 more years than her, and I saved $151,000, but I'm only at $1.3 million? That's right, Sarah has over $110,000 more than George, even though he saved 5 times as much, only because she started saving earlier.
Hey Curtis.
What's up?
Do you have any advice for an 18-year-old?
I actually do. Go right now, apply for 2 credit cards. When you receive them, cut them up. Do not use them. This will help build your credit score.
2 credit cards? Why do you say that?
Well, when I was 18 years old, I went and got 2 credit cards. I cut them up. When I was 23, I went to apply for my first home loan. I didn't have a job. I had a 750 credit score, and I got qualified for a $250,000 mortgage.
What? That's crazy.
It's actually a pretty crazy life hack.
In this song, I'm going to teach you the 12 months of the year. Are you ready? Here we go. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
You guys are loving these explainer videos, so today I'm going to do one on where you should open your Roth IRA. First, you have to ask yourself, what kind of investor am I? Am I a do-it-yourself kind of investor, or do I want somebody to just do it for me? If you want to do it yourself, then you'll want to open your Roth IRA at an online broker. My favorites are Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab. If you want somebody to do it for you, then I recommend a robo-advisor. My favorites are Betterment, SoFi, and Ellevest. Wherever you go, you want to pay attention to a few important things. First, try to find commission-free trading. Next, watch out for investment fees, also known as expense ratios. You want to keep them under 1%, but ideally closer to 0.25.
If you want to drive a car like this, you gotta first start a business. This is not my car. This is actually my company's car. Now, what I mean by that is, so every month when I'm making the car payment, I'm not making the payment, my company is making the payment. So if you own a small business, then the vehicle exclusively used for a business can be added to your yearly tax deductions as an operating expenses. And that's why you see all the successful business owners driving a nice car. It's not because they want to flex to other people. It's mainly because we don't want to pay taxes and we would rather own these cars than to pay tax to the government.
Gosh, I'm paying so much in taxes this year. This sucks. Ha! You pay taxes? I don't. What? Apple made so much money this year. How the F is that legal? Well, you know how I made a shit ton of money last year? Yeah, I made a lot of money, yes. But I was charged a huge invoice by a holding company I own in Ireland. So that I actually had no profits. So I actually reported no profits and paid no taxes. Yeah, and when Apple gives me their money, I don't pay any taxes. Because in Ireland, there's no corporate taxes. Okay, so Apple, how do you get your money back? I borrow it. I'm able to borrow at a low rate and say that he is my collateral and got my back covered. And you don't pay taxes on money you borrow. What the F? Does that mean I too can get a holding company and possibly not pay taxes?